You never know where you're going to learn stuff. I was watching a Canadian Football League game this year, and the reporter was talking to this player who had been injured for quite a while, and he had just made his debut. He'd just come back after all the rehab and all the problems and all the surgery and everything. And the reporter said to him, "It must be so good to be back out on the field." And the player said, "The Lord has blessed me with a lot of challenges this year." And I heard that and I thought, isn't that amazing? The Lord has blessed me with a lot of challenges this year. He went on to say that having this knee surgery caused him to work harder and value his teammates and playing football and blah, blah, blah. And it was a real blessing to have this problem. He said, the Lord has blessed me with a lot of struggles this year. Sometimes the way you see things or the way you think about things changes how you deal with them. And that's sort of what this week's sermon is going to try and do for us. I have a passage from Isaiah chapter 43, and it is one verse. One verse that makes 4 points about who God is. And I think this is a verse that we need to stick on our walls. This is a verse we need to put in our heads and in our hearts. It tells us 4 things about God that if we remember these things, if we start thinking like this, it will change how we approach this year. It'll change how we see our problems. It'll change how everything goes. When we get our thinking correct, we will react and respond correctly. So this Sunday, I'm going to give you this verse, and I'm going to tell you how we need to think. The sermon is called Stop Thinking Positively and What You Ought to Do Otherwise. I'm going to give you a reason to think differently this week. In our 10 o'clock Bible study during Sunday school time, we are in Acts chapter 7. Acts chapter 7, a really faithful man named Stephen starts recounting the history of God's people and how God dealt with his people and how God's people failed to respond at times. His entire point is going to be that people haven't changed and neither has God. And so we're going to learn something about God in this chapter, and we're going to learn some things we need to avoid, some things we ought to do. Stephen's speech is very instructive, and it's really good for helping us understand how God worked with his people. So we're going to get a history lesson, and we're going to get a lesson about how to live today. So that's Acts chapter 7. If you like reading ahead, we'll probably be in that chapter for the next couple of weeks. There's lots to see in there. Once again, it was really fun to see so many people stay for lunch on Sunday. The room was packed. That was wonderful. It was just so much fun to see. It was fun to visit with people, fun to visit and play ping pong with the kids downstairs afterwards. You can come join the ping pong game if you want. That's always a lot of fun. Please make plans to stay. Bring enough food for your family and one another so we can invite guests to stay. It's going to be a beautiful weekend. Even better, if you're at church with us on Sunday morning, we'll see you there.